The last message you send is to an old high school friend. I found a great job in Cambodia, you type. Customer service, high pay, free housing. You hit send, full of hope. 3 weeks later, you're sending another message, this time to a stranger you've never met, a terrified grandmother in Michigan. You're promising her a 50% return on her life savings if she invests in a cryptocurrency that doesn't exist. You are reading from a script. Standing behind you is a man with an electric cattle prod. You don't get paid for this. You're a slave. This isn't a job. It's a compound. And you're not an employee. You are property. Welcome to Sihanoukville. This is why it sucks to be a cyber scam slave in modern-day Cambodia. So, how did you end up here? It all started with a simple, professional-looking job ad on social media. Maybe it was on LinkedIn or a popular job site in your home country, perhaps the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, or even as far away as Kenya or India. The ad promised a customer support or tech or marketing role. The salary was incredible, 5 or 6 times what you could make at home. They'd even pay for your flight. The recruiter was friendly, efficient. They conducted a fake online interview. You got the job instantly. They handled your visa, your plane ticket. When you landed in Phnom Penh, a friendly driver was waiting for you, holding a sign with your name on it. You got into a clean, air-conditioned van. You felt like a professional. But the drive was long, longer than you expected. You left the city and drove for hours, deep into the night, until you arrived at a massive, walled compound that looked more like a prison than an office park. It was bristling with barbed wire and private guards. Your phone was taken. Your passport was confiscated for safekeeping. You were led into a massive, windowless hall filled with hundreds of other people just as confused as you were, sitting at rows of computers. A manager hands you a stack of papers, a script. This is your new job, he says. And by the way, you owe us $5,000 for your travel and recruitment. Your new job is called pig butchering. You are the butcher. The victims are the pigs. You were given a computer and a half-dozen burner phones. Your quota is simple. Find victims, gain their trust, and steal their money. You spend your first few hours on Instagram, Facebook, and Tinder, creating fake profiles. You are now a beautiful, successful woman from Singapore or a handsome, sensitive businessman from Hong Kong. You use stolen photos, build a fake life. Then you start hunting. You message hundreds of people a day. Hi, I think we met at that conference last year. Or, sorry, I thought you were my cousin, but you seem nice anyway. Most ignore you. Some respond. This is where the real work begins. You don't mention money for weeks, maybe months. You become their friend. You become their lover. You learn about their children, their dreams, their financial worries. You are patient, charming, and empathetic, all while reading from a script refined by psychologists to be maximally effective. When the pig is fattened, when the trust is absolute, you execute the slaughter. You casually mention a foolproof crypto investment your uncle, a banker, told you about. You show them your profits. You guide them step by step to deposit their money onto a fake website that your compound controls. You watch as they empty their savings, their retirement, their children's college funds into your trap. And the worst part? The entire time, you're cheering them on, telling them how proud you are, how this will change their lives. Then one day, you disappear. You block them, you delete your profile, and you move on to the next pig. Your quota is $10,000 a day. If you don't meet it, you don't eat. This isn't a 9-to-5 job. It's a 16-hour-a-day nightmare, 7 days a week. You sleep in a cramped, filthy dorm room with 15 other people, often on a bare mattress on the floor. The food is minimal, usually just thin rice porridge, barely enough to keep you alive. The rules are simple. You do not talk to guards. You do not use your real name. You do not ask questions. And you never, ever failed to meet your quota. Failure is met with immediate, brutal punishment. It starts with humiliation. Your manager will force you to stand in front of the whole floor, and read your failed chat logs aloud, while others are encouraged to mock you. The next step is pain. You are beaten with wooden bats or tasered with electric cattle prods, often in front of everyone as a warning. Some are forced to do grueling, pointless exercises until they collapse. Your debt is the real prison. The $5,000 you owed when you arrived, it's now $20,000. They charge you for your food. They charge you for your mattress. They charge you for the electricity your computer uses. They fine you for being slow or looking tired. The debt is designed to be mathematically impossible to repay. You are not an employee working off a debt. You are an asset being liquidated, and your value is the money you can steal before you break.
The psychological damage is almost worse than the physical. You are living in a state of constant, paralyzing fear. Every footstep in the hall, every time a manager looks at you, you flinch. But the real horror is what you are doing. You are a good person. You have a family, and you are spending 16 hours a day meticulously destroying the lives of innocent people. You listen to a grandmother cry as she tells you she lost her house. You read the suicide note of a man you bankrupted. And you have to pretend to be their friend while you do it. This cognitive dissonance shatters your mind. You become numb, a hollow shell. You see other slaves, broken and weeping, suddenly become cold and efficient. You watch your own humanity drain away, and you are powerless to stop it. What about escape? It's almost impossible. The compounds are fortresses, often located in special economic zones where local police are paid to look the other way. The walls are high, topped with razor wire. Armed guards patrol 24/7. Even if you could get past them, where would you go? You're in a foreign country, you don't speak the language, and your passport is gone. Still, people try. They make a run for it. They try to jump from a window. Most are caught instantly. The punishment is unspeakable, often public, to destroy any hope in the others. They are beaten, sometimes to death, or sold to another compound to an even worse fate. There are only three ways out. One, the first is to be rescued. This is rare. Sometimes an embassy or an NGO can pressure local police to conduct a raid, but these raids are often for show. The compound owners, usually powerful international crime syndicates, are tipped off. They hide the slaves or move them to another facility before the police arrive. For every one person rescued, 1,000 are left behind. Two, the second way out is to be bought. If your family is wealthy, they can try to pay your debt, but the price is extortionate, $50,000, maybe $100,000. The gangs will bleed your family dry, and even then, they might just sell you to another gang instead of releasing you. Three, the third way is to be used up. Your value is finite. You can only sustain this level of stress and abuse for so long. When you finally break, when you can no longer scam, when you are too physically or mentally ill to work, you are no longer an asset. You are a liability. You might be sold again, this time not for your mind, but for your body. Many are trafficked into prostitution or forced labor in other, even more brutal industries. Others are sold for their organs, and many are simply disposed of. They are beaten to death and dumped in a ditch, or they take their own lives, jumping from the dorm room window. The compounds have a steady supply of new recruits. A broken slave is just garbage to be thrown away. This isn't a small-time operation. This is a multi-billion-dollar global industry. The UN estimates that in Cambodia alone, over 100,000 people are trapped in these scam compounds, and tens of thousands more are enslaved in similar operations in Laos, Myanmar, and other parts of the world. The victims are not just the pigs who lose their money, the victims are also the butchers, the tens of thousands of educated, hopeful people lured by the promise of a better life only to be trapped, brutalized, and forced to become the criminals. This entire industry is built on a foundation of human slavery, protected by corruption and fueled by the world's digital connectivity. The phone in your hand, the social media apps you use every day are the tools of their trade and the bars of their prison. The job you answered seemed too good to be true, and it was. The person who typed it probably was a slave themselves, forced to lure others into the same trap that caught them. The cycle just continues. You are now a ghost in the machine, a digital puppet whose strings are held by monsters, forced to destroy lives to save your own, knowing you will probably fail at both. You are worthless than a cow, less than a slave. You are just a line item on a spreadsheet, a tool for theft, existing in a living hell. And the worst part, the world is still, for the most part, completely unaware you even exist.